Good morning, Metaverse. I'm Thor with the OCG and the Red Hand, and today is going to be a Star Atlas day. We'll be talking about a ship review for the Ogrika Sunpaa. And that's going to be the core of the episode. I'll have it in the timeline broken up. Later on, I'm going to talk about some discussions that have been had in the community for Star Atlas, and I want to make sure everybody's involved with that and aware of it. And then also, I'm going to want to talk about the way that I'm going to be running the show going forward now that we've reviewed all the ships and we'll be waiting for new ships to release, how I'm going to run the episodes in between that. And I want to get your feedback. I want to make sure that this is still really good value for the people that are watching it. That's my core purpose for why I do this. And so please leave your comments down below so we can mold this show and channel into something that's still very useful for the community as a whole. I'd appreciate that and look forward to your ideas. Now that that's taken care of, let's go see what the Sunpaa is all about. Okay, so the Sunpaa origination price is $9,600 USDC. There are plenty of them on the market, so don't rush. Take your time. There will be 1,400 in total. That makes it a epic rarity ship. It is a large class freight type ship. And then you have a crew. And remember, the crew is what we learned recently. The crew is going to have a lot to do with how fast you're able to craft things once you've gathered them out from outer space and brought it back to your star base in Scream, the mini game Scream. And so when you get back to that star base, the number of crew slots is going to be what determines the speed of manufacturing and crafting things. Okay, so this has 6 total crew slots, and we can compare that with some other large ships in the future. It has a captain, pilot, co-pilot, engineer, and 2 cargo foremen. 2 cargo foremen is great for a freight ship. I am theorizing that that's going to increase the speed of the upload or the loading and unloading of freight ships and cargo. Then we come to the components, and here's a couple things that I want you to keep an eye on with the Sunpaa. This is a cool ship overall, and I like it, but be aware of this. You have the power supply, warp drive, radar, tractor beam, shield generator are all large slots just like the class size, but then the impulse engine, that's a medium slot. So it's 2.7 times smaller than a large slot. Then maneuvering thrusters are large. You have 4 weapon hardpoints that are medium. So again, firepower is down. 2 missile bays, medium. Firepower is less. 2 counter bay, medium. That's again a reduction in defense. And then 1 hull reinforcement of large slot. So right up with its class. So it's underpowered and underdefended for a large class ship. Generally speaking, so keep that in mind. Now, one thing we did learn was, just for future reference, the warp drive has to do with the way that these ships travel on, for Scream, at least in the first iterations. Think of Scream kind of like a chessboard, and we learned this from Chipto in the Foundation room. With the warp drive, if an extra small would be like a pawn where it moves 1 square at a time, then a larger ship would be able to move multiple squares at a time, like a queen. Okay, and so when you're playing Scream and you have your chessboard out and you're trying to move your ships, the ones with larger hard or warp drives are going to be able to travel more squares at a time. So that's something to keep in mind. I think that was a cool piece of information that we learned from the Foundation room, and thank you, Chipto, for trickling out the information. And he really does make it a little bit more than just a trickle. So appreciate that flow of alpha. And then let's take a look at the modules. Now we have a large cargo, a large mess hall, and a medium fuel slot. So that suggests to me that it is going to be a good ship to transport cargo over long distances. It has all the pieces that you would need to make that happen efficiently. And you know, hopefully we'll have a little bit more clarity on some of the other parts, like the mess hall, how that works directly with characters, I would imagine, and then the fuel capacities and how they correlate with the warp drive, the impulse engine, and the actual ability to travel different distances efficiently. And then, taking a look on the inside of this thing, the Sunpaa looks like a pretty cool Punab ship, and it has the look, the clean, sleek look, but very alien-esque of the Ogrika. Some of the designs that Ogrika comes up with is really cool. And this one is definitely taking a different line where some of them look more like bugs or very flowy. This has a very it's sleek, but it's still a very much of a cylinder, and it's down to business. You can see, I don't know what that is. It almost looks like it has a foundry built inside, if those are furnaces or something. But the way that they lay out the inside, this is definitely going to be a really cool one to look at. Now, if I'm correct about this, the creatures in this picture would be the Tapunab, which are like, I don't know, size of a large cat or a small dog. And so if I'm looking at these hallways, if you're a big Tufo rock creature or a big ooster, you're gonna have to get on your hands and knees to crawl through it like a hamster maze or something. So that's actually kind of fun to think about it. Maybe these ships are going to be specialized for the small guys, and the Punab, and maybe they have to ride around on their tigers. But very very neat looking ship. So one question that I have for anybody that is going to make freight and cargo your main game mode that you play is, how is the price action between the secondary market and these new ships that are coming out? How are you looking at that, as far as the quality of ship and the cost of those ships? And what I mean specifically is, if I look at, say, the Rainbow Arc, which is another large ship, I can pick one up for just about $1,000, which is $2,700 less than its origination price. So its earning potential is significantly higher. And then maybe that's one that I can do a comparison from one cargo ship to another and really see how they lay out against each other, and how long it's going to take for people buying Rainbow Arcs before they get to the point of wanting to buy a Ogrika Sunpaa. There are a couple other cargo ships, and there's other types of ships that are going to have this issue with the secondary market being significantly less than these new ships coming out, and how that inventory is going to be taken up, and how much emphasis is put on the benefits of one ship versus the other. So that'll be an interesting question. If anybody has any thoughts on that, leave it in the comment section below. And that will be it for the review of the Ogrika Sunpaa. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the community discussions that have been going on. So the big community discussion that I've been involved with recently is with Starpath. And I would recommend that everybody take a look at what the Metaverse Nomads have put together. They made a episode of or a clip of an episode of theirs, which is only about 45 minutes long, versus the 3.5 hour long episodes that is the full episode. But that clip of the episode is specifically geared to Witticus and his review or assertion of Starpath, how it is right now, and why it's really is not a great system in his eyes, and some things that he thinks would make it a lot better. And then Funcracker was on, that actually gave some really good thoughts and commentary about that as well. I always like hearing what they have to say. Fancy Hat and Ray also gave their comments on it. But this is a discussion that has really been going around in the Discord, in the Foundation room, and the most important part is that the team has been listening. And I know I've heard from Santi, and I've heard from Michael Wagner in the town hall, that the team is listening to this. They understand that there is an issue or something that the community wants changed, and so they're going to be addressing that. And so making the community making our desires and our suggestions known, I think, is extremely important at this point, especially now that the Polis DAO has been started. And we need to start practicing how we are going to influence change in the development of Star Atlas. This is a community-driven discussion. Thank you very much to the Metaverse Nomads and Whitakus for putting together a really a well put together presentation to understand what it is and what it should be, or what a better option would be. A very constructive to listen to that and understand it. But even without any templates for proposals and that type of thing, we were able to see a really good idea of the information and the discussion that we could be having as a community, and this can branch out to other topics, but a really good way to go about it. So definitely check them out. I'll leave a link in the description below, and that is the major community discussion of this last week, at least, that I want to make sure everybody is a part of. Lastly, I wanted to talk about how I'm going to run this channel and the episodes going forward. We have caught up to all the ships that are out on the marketplace right now. We've done a review for each of them. One thing I would like to do, and I have heard in the comments, and people have said that they'd like to do some side-by-side comparisons, and maybe put together a spreadsheet that makes it easy to lay out and see which one is better for different categories, and really pit them against each other. Now that we're starting to get a little bit more information on what the different components really do, how they interact with each other, I think that's going to be more and more meaningful. And as new ships come out, that's going to really help the review process of those to know what you're looking at. And for people that have been here for a long time, and specifically for new people coming in, knowing what is a good aspect of one ship versus the other, and where the value lies. So that's something that I'll be doing with the reviews, and with going back over a couple other ships that we already have reviewed. Also, what I would like to do is have that first part of the episode be about the ships, and then the second part be about the discussions that are going on in the community, or maybe some alpha drops that have been going on in the Foundation room. Now, going back to my other screen, Metaverse Explorer, Metaverse Explorer actually did a episode about Foundation Room Alpha, and I think that is a great service to the community, because nobody has enough time to read through all of the information, but there is a lot of great information out there, and we don't want the development team to slow that down. It keeps us in the loop. I think it really gives some life to the community before we're able to get into the actual playing of the game. And so doing that type of episodes, I think, is phenomenal. I'll leave a link to that episode and his channel below. And that's sort of a piece that I would like to add into the second part of my episodes, because I think it is that important. And maybe it'll be a little bit more directing to some of the other content creators that have put out solid videos. So I'm not just repeating information that you guys have already heard. If you watch some of the other ones, you can just click and go and use that as sort of a crossroads. My channel be more of a crossroads to get pertinent information on different subjects, or what's most important in the community at this time, and really leverage on what these other content creators are making. I think that is really powerful. I've seen that happen in a few other projects, and I'd like to see that in Star Atlas as well. So leave comments in the description below if you think that's a good idea, if that would make this channel valuable to you, and or if you don't think that's really worth doing, if you have other ideas, let me know. For full disclosure, right now I'm actually moving from one house to another, so it's crazy. In a couple weeks, I'll be back on a regular schedule, so I might not release exactly on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I will be getting these videos out still as best I can. And I appreciate all the involvement and engagement that you guys have had. I get probably 8 to 10 really good comments on each of these videos I've put out, and it's really helped me in developing and helping out with building the community of Star Atlas, and I hope you enjoy that as well. So, you know, that's a lot of stuff, a lot of questions that I have for you guys this time. But if you can answer those, if you can check out these videos and stay engaged with the Star Atlas community, then today was a good day. Good morning, Metaverse.